you guys, so here we are, we're ready and set to talk about Avengers Endgame. Now I was going to do a spoiler free one, but I can't do it because there's not a lot you can talk about if you're doing it spoiler free. So if you don't want any spoilers for what is probably one of the best films I've ever seen, then go away now. It's alright, I won't be upset with you. You know, go away, come back and watch this when you've actually gone and seen it. Have you all gone? Gone? Good. They all die at the end. I see. You've not gone. You've not turned it off. Now you're going to be all angry at me. Yeah. Anyway, so for those of you that have stayed, where do we start? Iron Brew. Thor drinks Iron Brew. There's a scene. It's behind him on a shelf. I was so blown away with that because I do love my Iron Brew. Made in Scotland from girders, which you'll only understand if you're English. Do they have Iron Brew abroad? Please, if you're an American, if you're over there in the States or in anywhere else in the world, because I get watched in Mexico, I get watched in Indonesia, I get watched in lots of places. So yeah, if you're in any of those countries, you let me know. Do you get Iron Brew? Cool. Right. So where should we start? Well, we'll start at the beginning. Heartbreaking. Hawkeye loses his family. What a tragedy, and what a great way to start it. That moment, because we all knew what was going to happen, and that made it worse because we all know that they're going to disappear, and he's there like, oh, looking for his kids, and that was. Then we get Ant-Man back. His name's gone out of my head. I should have written all the names down, shouldn't I? Ant-Man back. Thank you to a rat. Of all the things in the world to save the universe, it's a rat running across a keyboard. Yeah, and I liked his character in this. And that was the thing with this, right? A lot of people complain about the humour, but the bit with the is it nachos, whatever it is in the thing, and that was brilliant. You'll know this if you've seen it. The bit with the nachos and the Hulk. A Hulk. There we go. We've got Professor Hulk in there. I'm just going to ramble, by the way. You may notice this. We've got Professor Hulk in there, which is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, I remember reading the comics as a kid with that in. Right, there we go. Let me explain to you. Right. I loved Marvel Comics as a kid. I'm dyslexic, so that was how I learned to read, really, was reading comic books because it was a picture thing. And they've been a big, big part of my life. And around the time that the first Iron Man film came out, my life was on a little bit of a low. And things were going drastically wrong for me. And that film kept me sane. That film, I watched it, went to the cinema 6 times, maybe more. I did get a copy of it off of somebody, if you know what I mean. And that got put onto I had a PSP at the time, and it was on my PSP. So on the nights when I was not able to sleep, I'd just sit and watch Iron Man. It was a ropey copy, but I would just listen to it, and it would just chill me out. So Iron Man 2, Captain America, all of those have been such a big impression on me. And Tony Stark, you can't say role model, because he's maybe not the best of people to say he's a role model, but that outlook on life of trying to make himself and the world better, it's how I try to live my life. Don't always work like that, but still, neither does Tony's life. So yeah, Tony Stark has a real important place in my life. So the end of this film, as you can imagine, yeah, there was tears. I know I'm skipping straight to the end, and we're going to go into that, but so well handled. It was such a beautiful moment. There was no sort of well, there was tear jerking, but you know what I mean? They just handled it so well. They made his life so meaningful. Brilliant. Bravo, guys. Also, the Captain America ending as well. That brought a tear to my eyes. Alright, do you know where I actually started with the tear thing? I mean, I've had a few moments. I'm a 90s man. What do I mean now? 2000s. Okay. I'm a modern guy. I admit, I get emotional. And it's a good thing. Actually, I've got to say, well, when I sat at the cinema, towards the end when Iron Man Tony Stark was passing away, and then there was a guy behind me, and a guy behind that, and a woman sat this side of me, and the bloke at the side of me, and everybody was going, and sniffing and stuff, and it was it was kind of, because I was in tears as well. It was kind of quite sweet that everybody was so emotionally connected to these characters. If you get a chance, go watch the Iron Man making of. There's a bit in there where Jon Favreau talks about making these characters, you know, real, and then you'll care about them. And I wish I had recorded that and played it here, but anyway. I'm rambling again, aren't I? Yeah. So, yeah, to see a hero die, but die in a brave way is a great thing. But the moment that kicked it off for me, the bit that really made me well up, for slightly different reasons, was when Captain America stood there and they were all coming through the portals and he said, "Avengers assemble." That really touched me, because that is like him shouting "Avengers assemble" is an important part of comic book history and my childhood. And yeah, that really did make me emotional. So this is just, I don't know, this, like I say, I'm just rambling with this, but this is just such a beautiful film. Yes, I know people will complain about the time travel-y stuff, and I must admit myself, I don't quite get why Nebula shoots herself and then doesn't cease to exist, because surely it's, but then apparently I've watched some stuff about it on that thing called YouTube. Do anybody watch YouTube? I've watched some stuff on YouTube saying that it's because that's a different timeline. So, if there's different timelines, yes, they could bring back Tony Stark, and they could bring back Captain America, and they could bring back everybody else. Who else? Oh, yeah, Black Widow. About that. I really do think at the end of this film there should be a phone number that goes up and says, if you've had, you know, like they do when they put a program on that's got a little bit of a tragic sort of thing to it. And I say, if you've been affected by today's episode, please do phone the phone number at the bottom. There should have been that somewhere on it, shouldn't there? Thor. I can finally cosplay as Thor because he's got the gut. Look at that. These girdles are really tight, I tell you. Oh, by the way, I went in my favourite t-shirt, look. My Deadpool Groot. I am Deadpool Groot. Groot was back. Rocket was in there. Like I say, some people have complained that there was too much of a sense of humour in here, but that is what you need, because when you make people laugh, you can then make them cry, because they see that moment and go, oh, I like this guy, and now he's dead. And it means more, that you've actually laughed with them and you feel like they're human. And it really does that. It really does make them. The Thor was brilliant in there. I mean, meeting his mom was such a great moment, and the way that they played it with the humour and the thing, and that she was happy to meet, and it was a happy meeting for a sad event. I'm really confused about anything else I want to mention now, because this is going to be running out soon. Seriously, this, marks wise, I have to give this an A+. This is how superhero films should be. You've got to remember, I've of an age, I remember. Okay, I wasn't around for it, but I remember showing it on TV. The Adam West Batman. I was there for the Superman, and that was like this, a big step into making superheroes meaningful. But I have sat through the 1990s, 80s Captain Americas. We were there for the TV Hulk, which was okay. I've been there through some utter crud. So now it is great to see these characters who I have known and loved my entire life. Okay, maybe not Star-Lord. He's quite new. Thanos, maybe not. But you know what I mean. To see them up there on a big screen being who I feel they should be is perfect. I hope that DC look at this and maybe they need to start listening to the fans and looking at what the fans want rather than looking at what directors want. Because I think that's the problem with this. This is a situation where a group of people have sat down together as a group and said, this is what we think people want. And for 90% of it, they have delivered. I don't think there is a bad film in the Marvel canon. There's some weak ones. Thor Dark World, Ant-Man vs. Wasp maybe. Okay, controversy here. This will get lots of thumbs down. Captain Marvel, it's an okay film, but I don't think it's as big or as dazzling or as amazing as everybody's going on about. Sorry, guys. I enjoyed it, but not my all-time favourite. So, yeah. This film really means the world to me. I need to go see it again. But you see, that's the other thing with this. The night before I watched Infinity War. And it's it's manageable. This at 3 hours something, you're going to have to put a lot of time out to... Maybe they should do an edit version. You know, like they do director's cuts, which are longer? Maybe they should do one of this where they shorten it down just for that, you know. Yeah, that'd be an interesting idea, wouldn't it? Just do the short version for those of us that don't have time to watch 3 hours worth of films. Might be an idea. So yeah, that's kind of it really. I may do another video about this because I keep thinking of things and I could ramble for hours about it. But seriously guys, this is an A+ film. Well, you'll know because you'll have seen it, because you won't have been listening to this if you haven't seen the film. Duh. So yeah, guys, it's made 1.2 billion yesterday. Biggest opening weekend ever. Thank you to Marvel, thank you to Disney, thank you to Jon Favreau, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, all those people that brought us this. I did put a list down there, but it's brilliant. If you've enjoyed this video, if you agree with me, if you're a fan like this, and you like my kind of thing, hit that subscribe button down there. It really, really helps the channel. Really does, yeah. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for taking the time. Hope you all have a great day. Hope you all have a great night. And I shall ramble some more to you later. Have a good one. Bye. How do you turn the camera off from this side? I don't know, I've never done it this